The captain's log, is it working now? It's working now. Finally, I don't... OBS. See, the thing is, I'm using a Mac, and I'm not using a very good Mac. It was like their lowest end, cheapest one, so it doesn't have much memory, and all of that stuff, which is why we're only streaming at 720, but we don't really need to be 1080. You guys don't need to see all that much detail. But they make OBS for Mac, for PC first and foremost. So that's the thing that's happening. Let's see. Let me just make sure one quick thing. Okay. That's good to go. At least we're still live.
Yay.
Or I guess we're back to being live. Let me do one quick... Oh, shit. No, that's not what I want. That was my phone, which is on our Twitch stream. Cool. There we go. Back to business.
Yes.
Where were we? We had a slight
we were describing the litany of podcasts I got into in 2018.
Yes, so it's not the trifecta one. You explained that, but I was not completely listening, to be honest, because I was like, things are not happening right. Things are not working.
You got technical business.
Yes.
Yes.
So you can tell me off air or something again, and I'll get everything straight in my mind. But the listeners know. They know good and well what is happening there. So Melissa,
all my mini podcast credits.
Yeah. This is, as I mentioned, the final episode of the Captain's Log before the holiday break. This is coming out, I guess, the Friday right before Christmas. If you guys are listening to this on the free feeds, Christmas is usually a time that people take vacations. You had written down here that you wanted to talk about dream vacations.
Kyle, it was a struggle for me to take one vacation day off just to get my oil changed and get a haircut. I ain't going nowhere.
I lucked out, and my roommate is also a barber, so he is like, I'll hook you up. Like, sweet. Because I used to buzz my haircut myself, but that was just like, I don't know how to do anything. I hate my hair long. I'm just going to buzz it all off, and that's that. And then he's like, I'll hook you up with a fade. We can make things actually look somewhat nice. I was like, gee, thanks. Yeah. So,
well, now here you are, styling, profiling.
Here I am, styling, profiling. Exactly. There you go. So dream vacation. If you had a week, make that 2 weeks to just go wherever the hell you wanted to go, where would you go? You were the one that wrote this down. I don't know why I'm the one asking.
Give me 2 weeks. My
question.
My dream vacation right now is West Edmonton Mall, which is the biggest mall in North America.
Isn't it Mall of America?
Mall of America is the biggest mall in America. West Edmonton Mall's in Canada.
I've been lied to. My entire life is a sham.
It's the biggest mall in America, but all of North America, the continent, it goes to Canada. Sense, yeah. Canada's got the biggest mall.
Canada has the biggest. They have everything, man. I don't understand.
Big malls,
Rick Moranis. Yeah, Rick Moranis. There you go. So you want to go to a big old shopping mall?
Yes, I have been to the Mall America. I was there for one day, and I saw 20% of it or something. It's so big, and I do want to go back and just do 3-day shopping weekend. See other parts of Minnesota so that I don't get weird cabin fever just being inside for 3 days.
Yeah.
But those are my dreams. Malls and Comic-Cons. And I feel like I'm
Interesting. So
supposed to have.
you want to go to events, not just like I don't want to do shit. Like I just want to lay on a beach and drink.
I
You're,
would like to do that at some point, but like I don't know, I just want to see stuff. I'd like to be a tourist. I don't like to be a
okay.
lazabout.
So you're there in your Mickey Mouse sweatshirt with your camera and just walking around. Ooh, what's to see here?
Yeah. Like I've been to Mall of America once, but I need to do more. I've been to Disney World once and I need to do more. I want to like really know something.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean that's one way. Like that's one of the things, right? When you go to a like a new place or a new location, a new country, right? Like one of the things that I always want to do, I don't want to go like I'm more of I don't want to do the tourist things. I want to
Mm-hmm.
go to like the most local bar that like
Mm-hmm.
is not on the tourist map. What's the good food? Like what's the quiet spots that I can just go hang out and relax?
Mm-hmm.
Um and it's usually nowhere near Disney World or a Comic-Con or something like that. Those things would be fun to go do and spend a
Mm-hmm.
weekend doing, but I wouldn't be like, you know what, I'm gonna take 2 weeks and I'm gonna go to Chicago and go to C2E2.
Ah, you should though.
I mean, I would love to do that, but that wouldn't be my dream vacation. So
Mm-hmm.
what, like, what about this mall is like, this has Melissa's name in neon signs.
Okay. This place is called the Best. No, it's called the West Edmonton Mall, and I found a YouTube channel devoted to it called Best Edmonton Mall, and it's just this guy doing deep dives on all these different parts of the mall, and it
I
has.
wonder if they have a second mall in Edmonton, so that it's not just like we're the only mall here, so we're the
I,
best mall here. So yeah, well,
no,
you're
I
also
think
the worst mall there, you know.
no, I think there are other malls, but like this is just a fan channel. I'm like, oh, a kindred spirit, another mall fan.
Interesting.
But this mall has this big hotel. And this
Okay.
hotel is full of super duper themed rooms. Like you're inside a medieval castle, like that kind of stuff.
So the hotel is in the mall, not like down the street.
No, the hotel's like attached to the mall.
Weird.
And so you can go into this crazy themed room, and there's this massive, it's like the biggest indoor water park, definitely in North America, if not in the world, that's part of this mall. And there is a theme room in the hotel that is themed to that water park. And there's a special window that looks in from the hotel room into the water park. You don't have like an outside view, you have a view into the water park. You can sit in a
Interesting.
jacuzzi in your room and look at the slides.
Let's
And I
sit
love it.
inside water and look at people in other water.
I know, it's great. So I just found that thing a couple weeks ago and I'm like, I
Interesting.
need to go there. I need to do that. So like I'm not like an exploratory type. Like it'd be fun to see like a national park or like an out of doors, but stuff like this gets me the most excited. Like weird stuff people have just made. Like touristy things. I like
Isn't
that.
the Midwest the places that you see all of the like we have the world's biggest rubber band ball?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think St. Louis, we're close to a big ketchup bottle and something else that's very big. What?
Penises. No. No, I was just like, that's the thing that I see in movies when they take
Oh
a
yeah,
road
like
trip
Swallowtwine in
and
Minnesota.
yeah, and they're like driving through the middle of America and it's just like there's nothing around here except a giant cow statue.
Yep,
And,
yeah.
and
Mid-America
that's
is
like,
refinement stuff.
hey guys, come see our giant cow statue. It could have been a
Okay,
meme, but a real live one got the meme instead. You know?
this is one of my favorite things like that around here. Out like past St. Louis, getting into the country towards like mid Missouri. there was an Elvis museum, like one of those little roadside, like 1950s and 60s nostalgia places.
Sure.
You know what
Yeah.
are you familiar with that concept?
Yep.
And it had this big, like, I don't know, 18-foot high, like painting of Elvis, like a big plywood and painted Elvis, like singing into a microphone. That place closed down and it became a church, but they kept that sign there. They just repainted Elvis to just look like a guy. And then
I
instead,
mean,
like,
Elvis did do a lot of like he has a couple like Christian or like gospel albums.
he does. Yeah.
My
But this was
parents
not
love
Elvis.
them.
They just like they just painted the pompadour just like a brown, and instead of like a bedazzled white jacket, it's just like a jacket.
It's a denim
blue
jacket.
or
Yeah.
red. Yeah, and then instead of holding this big microphone, this big stand microphone, there's just a big cross in this guy's hand that he's like weirdly singing towards. Like you can still tell that's what it used to be.
Terrible. Yeah, it's like I don't know, the touristy stuff doesn't really do it for me. I it's weird to think cuz obviously on this podcast I have to be talkative and stuff like that. I'm not in real life. Like I'm a very quiet person.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to go disappear somewhere. Like that's what I would do. Just
You
like
want to go rogue. You want to go undercover.
I mean, yes, rogue to an extent. Like, I don't want to be so out in the middle of nowhere that it's like there's not a Best Buy within 50 miles. You know what I mean? Like, I need civilization. I want to hide in plain sight. Like, I want to blend into a crowd and have no one notice me. Type of thing.
Where would you like to go then? And where have you been that you've really enjoyed?
So most of the big vacations I've been to was when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
My I guess I don't know if my grandparents helped pay for people to do this or not. I always had that idea in the back of my mind that they were so rich that they like wanted to like have the whole family go on these big like vacations and stuff. So I always felt like they helped out my family because eventually we just stopped. And most of that was because of their health, right? It was just like, okay, you guys are getting old, you can't travel. But then it wasn't even like we'll fly you to where we are. It was just like it just stopped. And so
not going anywhere, Gramps.
Yeah, okay, that's a little strange. But I've been to. We would take vacations for Christmas, and I have been to Hawaii. I have been to Mexico, and I've been to Australia.
What?
Yeah.
That's the farthest away you can be.
It is. I think I was like a 6 or 7 when we went to Australia, so I barely remember it.
When I was that age, we just went to Cleveland.
At the beach. Yeah, and so like it was this thing. Like each year, it was like, where are we gonna go to next? Is it gonna be Montana? Is it gonna be Hawaii? Is it gonna be France? Is it gonna, It's like I don't know. And then it just stops. I was like, huh, strange. And I'm not close enough with my relatives to be like, hey, what happened? Like, why did we actually stop all of that stuff? So it was just like, oh well, fine, that's fine with me. I'll just stay here and play video games at home then.
So like the families in Home Alone where they're like, well, for Christmas the whole extended family's going to Paris, we're going to the Florida beach. Like that was for reals, and you did it
for a couple years there.
I've been outside of the central time zone like twice in my life. Like
and no wonder you want to go to a mall, which is probably still in central time straight up.
Yeah.
You need to get out. You need to go to a beach. And
I would love to go to a beach. I've never
like a
seen
lake.
an ocean.
Yeah, you need to go to like the Pacific Ocean or the go to Japan or do like
I've always wanted to
what
go to.
foreign country besides Canada, because they're basically America's top hat. We all know that.
Mhm.
Much better looking top hat because our country's a mess, but like
I would
where would you
go.
go?
Um, I'd love to do like the UK, like England and Ireland and Scotland. That sounds really
Ireland.
lovely. Japan does sound nice.
Okay.
I don't know.
Are
Like I'm happy to go anywhere. I think I just set like small attainable goals for myself. Like, wow, what if I could just go to
a mall?
Nashville once? Yeah, a mall. A mall in Canada. Yes.
So I've been to the King of Prussia Mall in just outside. So I guess
Yes, you told me this.
it's in King of Prussia in Philadelphia, or no, in Pennsylvania, because Pennsylvania is the state, not Philadelphia, which is the second largest mall in America, if I'm not mistaken. I've
Yeah, it goes
been
Mall of
there.
America, then King of Prussia. I don't know what's third.
No one cares about third.
I would if I knew it. Like once I have that information, I'm not letting go of it. I just don't know it yet.
Yeah. Um. But yeah, I mean, that was just it was a mall, but it was just a really big mall, and it baffled me because it was like, why does it need to be this big? There's three of the same stores. Like what? Why? Like, there's no point in having three of the same stores. Go away. We already have you. Like I.
You know, you know what I think it is that I like about it so much? Like a very big mall feels like my childhood just cranked up to like 12 out of 10.
But there's no ball pit.
I don't need a ball pit. I need like an arcade and just like a palm tree and some neon signs and like a pretzel. Like the mall was my favorite
You
place to
can't
go when I was a little kid. And
you
like,
can't neglect the balls. Okay, you have to have the balls. That came to me mid-sentence. I was like, I need to interrupt. This is important.
No, I treasure these times together. I like that was my favorite place when I was a kid, and like it's something like that mall, like my childhood mall, Northwest Plaza is dead, and I can't go back there. So I just
Weird.
want to go to other very special malls and kind of feel like I'm a little kid at Northwest Plaza again.
That's good. Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
I,
It's an interesting way to spend your vacation, that's for
mhm.
sure. Going out
I
and
do
seeing the attractions of the world instead of just Googling them.
I do like to travel. I don't get to do it often. This year, I went to Kansas City, Chicago, and Tulsa. I told you about that trip to Tulsa on a lost episode because that recording didn't work.
Yeah, that was that. I guess that was the one that Eric and his brother came on. That
Mhm.
was the first time that Jess was also on an episode,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, and that didn't work out. We lost the recording. Well,
Hmm.
it happens.
Yeah, I do like to travel. I want to travel more. I feel like that's one of the number one questions people ask you on dates is like, where do you want to go? And like I've been on
It's a
dates
good
with
like
so
first date thing.
yeah. I feel like my answers are always like underwhelming because there's dudes that are like,
I want to go
yeah,
to the
I'm
mall.
because there's dudes that are like, yeah, I'm gonna go snowboarding in southern Chile. I just really want to get out there and get back to nature and see the world. And I'm like, I'd really like to go to Emerald City Comic Con
Yeah,
and Dragon Con and the biggest mall in North America. Like
yeah. It's like
shopping.
I don't even know
Shopping.
our home country yet. Let me shop around here first.
Exactly. Like I want to know the Midwest better. Like that's something really important to me. Like I loved going to Tulsa. Like that was really an illuminating experience to me. I went to Nashville last year. Like I just want to see things that are like 8 hours away from where I am, and I want to see all of them. Like
Okay.
What's in Arkansas? I don't know. I want to know. They're my neighbor.
Hello, neighbor.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to do that.
Yeah, that's not bad. I think if it was me, I want to go somewhere warm. I do
Mm-hmm.
not like the cold. I am definitely summer is my favorite time of year. But I kind of want to go to like France or Italy, somewhere in
Yeah,
Rome or
I'd love to go
something.
to France.
I think they would have amazing food. I'm also a very picky eater. Um,
Uh-huh.
I don't like seafood. I don't like onions or like tomatoes or peppers and stuff. I like the flavor of that stuff, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't like the
Mm-hmm.
actual thing. It's strange. So
Okay.
I mean, I would absolutely I would absolutely love to go to like Japan and stuff like that, but I feel like most of the cuisine
So
I
many
wouldn't
fish.
like. I'd be the
Yeah.
one. I'd still be going to McDonald's if
That
I was
does
in
sound
Japan.
fun though.
Which yeah, like a one-time thing. Like I'm gonna go visit a McDonald's in Japan
Those
because
KFCs
their
they love so much.
menus are completely different and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So it'd be fun to do that once, but I would be the one that's like, well, I guess there's nothing else around here that I like, so I'm going to go back to McDonald's for the 17th time this
Oh,
2-week vacation, you know.
that is
That
rough.
it'd be terrible. No, I'm actually fairly good with at least trying most stuff. I know I
Yeah.
absolutely do not like seafood,
Mhm.
but most stuff I will at least give it
Yeah.
the old college try.
I'm a real spice baby. I can't handle it.
So you don't like spicy stuff.
No, no, I can't. Like, you don't know what Cyberg sauce is. There's a local restaurant called Cyberg's, and they have this buffalo-esque sauce, and
I
that stuff I like, and that's as much as I can do.
I did not know that cyborgs produced any kind of sauce. I don't know what to think of that.
It's called Cybergs with an E. As far as I know, there's no cyborgs involved.
Well,
As far as I
have you
know.
ever cut the guy open to see what's underneath? For all
Just
you
knock the
know,
waiter off
I'm a
his feet and see if he
cyborg.
makes a metal clanging noise. I don't, Kyle.
It's crazy
I can
to
only
think
trust.
how much AI has developed in our lifetime.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Anyways, you went to go see Marvel's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
I did this, Kyle. Did you also do that?
I have yet to go see it. I
Oh.
would have absolutely gone to go see that opening night. That is usually my thing, but I have been exhausted this week at work. Has been hell. So I was just like, I'm done. I'm going to sleep and it's going to be great. And that's what I did. And that's why I'm a little bit tipsy here on this podcast, as I'm sure you can tell. But yeah, I have yet to go see it. I might go see it tomorrow.
Ah.
But spoiler free, what did you think? What was it like?
I really liked it. I was very tired when I saw it, and I could feel myself like, there's levels of this I'm just too exhausted to get. Like, there's some connection
have to
I'm
go
not
back
getting
and watch
because
it
I'm
again.
too tired. But visually stunning, really funny, really clever. Like, I know it's jam-packed with stuff I'm not going to get until you see it, and then you sit me down and you
And
explain
explain
to
it,
me
yeah.
every like obscure Spider-Man reference. I got some of them. Like, there's plenty of background signage in New York City that's like, it's the Bendis coffee shop or it's
Yeah.
Romita's ramen. I'm like, okay, those ones I can get, but
Romita's
deeper stuff
ramen
than
is
that,
great.
boy, I don't know.
I love that.
Oh, I really liked that Aunt May. I evaluated
their
Spider-
version of Aunt May is fantastic.
Yes.
Good to know.
I'm very attached to Aunt May, being an aunt also myself.
So you
I'd like to see a
mentioned
good Aunt May.
you mentioned the animation was good. That's the one thing I am both like in awe of, but at the same time I feel like a lot of people are a little apprehensive because it's not necessarily fluid. It
Yeah,
looks very choppy, and like it's a very different style of art.
I think that was fine. Like the way everything moved was fine. Like like very quickly, like you get used to it.
Okay.
One thing that is kind of odd is that like it uses this deep it uses this I don't think it's deep focus, shallow focus, I don't know. There's something about like the depth of field of what you're looking at or anything outside of the main character can get real blurry.
Okay. Yeah,
Almost
that's a
like,
very,
oh,
very
was this
shallow depth of field, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
okay, that's which one it is. I'm like,
Yeah.
was this supposed to be in 3D and I didn't get my glasses? Like, there will be moments like this. Like, is this right? But they kept going, and I'm like, okay, it is right. It's just like a stylistic thing I needed to get used to.
Yeah.
And now I'm used to it. I like it.
It's a way to draw your focus to what you need to pay attention to. I've seen there's a number of comic book artists that do the same thing. Like it used to be like when Stan Lee was still making comics and stuff like that, everything was was in focus. I have my air quotes here. But like once you start to get more into digital art and stuff like that, you can start to make it more cinematic and more like a painting and stuff like that. So you can actually start to mess with layers and focus and stuff like that. So they can do some interesting stuff with the depth of field and what you focus on. Good stuff. Good. I'm glad you liked it. It's been getting like rave reviews. I think it's hitting at like a 98, 97-ish on Rotten Tomatoes, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So people are loving that. One thing I saw, Mark Bernardin, who co-hosts the Fat Man on Batman podcast with Kevin Smith, or at least used to. I don't know if he still is. I'm not sure. I haven't listened to that show in a long, long time. But he was mentioning something on Twitter. He was like, "Look, people absolutely love the MCU films and stuff like that, and one of the downsides with the MCU films is that each film is not necessarily a complete cinematic experience. Like it is part of a larger thing. It is just one small portion of a larger pie, right?" And he's like, that's not the case with this movie. It is a complete story.
Yeah.
It wraps up, and I mean, I'm assuming there will be a sequel by how they
good left
this
it open.
is. Yeah. And it's comics, so you can always come up with something else. But yeah, like I mean, he was just like, it's something worth. Like it's a fantastic movie by itself, not just like, oh, it's fantastic in terms of this larger thing.
Yeah, it gave me a plot advancement that's going to be useful in the future when this other movie gets a sequel and they cross over. Like it's strategically good. And this is just like good on its own end. Yeah,
which I think especially in the superhero genre, because Marvel has been killing it, is something you don't see.
Yeah.
Very often. So, good stuff. I might go see it tomorrow. Yes.
Kyle, speaking of big pies.
Big pies.
Today was my family holiday party.
Okay. And how did that go?
It was good. It was good. This is my mom's side of the family. They're a large Irish Catholic family.
Okay.
My mom is the 9th kid out of 14.
Yikes.
Yes.
I've been through college. I know what sleep deprivation is like, but not to that extent. Just like 14, 15, 16 years of my life where I wouldn't sleep because there's babies everywhere crying. Like I just what?
Babies everywhere.
It's that Buzz Lightyear and Woody meme where they're just like babies everywhere.
So we have a big family, and like the Christmas party is the big thing every year. And it's been rotating off between these two cousins of mine year to year.
Mhm.
But the cousin whose turn it was this year, like they had to downsize and move to just a smaller house that is now too small for us. And the other cousin's like, I'm not doing this 2 years in a row. So we did not have a place big enough to fit everybody. So my mom rented out her church basement.
There you go.
So it was very different this year. And we tried hard to like decorate everything and make it feel homey. And oh, it was sweet. It was kind of like a big family effort. Like everybody's
That's
putting
awesome.
up decorations and everybody's helping like lay out all of this food and bring stuff in. Like, oh, I forgot, we're not like in somebody's house, so we need to just bring this stuff with us because it's not already there. And oh, it was a good time.
That's
But
good.
one of my cousins they went to like a Sam's Club, a Costco, something like that. And they brought these pies that were 14 inches across. Like that big.
It's just like bigger than my face.
Bigger. Yes.
That has to
Yeah,
be like
I'm
16 inches.
Yeah, I think like 12, 14 inches across. The biggest pies I've ever
I
seen.
swear to you, it's this big.
It's a clearinghouse on dick jokes. We gotta get them all in before 2018 is over.
Yep.
And they bought like 3 of these pies and everybody brought dessert. So we're like overloaded on desserts. Like I baked a whole bunch of cookies. Sorry, microphone. I did not mean to hit you. I did not
Karate
hit her.
chop.
I did not. And so there's half of this pie left and they just gave it to me like, here, take this.
Mhm.
So I've got more pie than I could ever eat in my fridge right now.
There you go. Did I tell you about the app that I made when I was in college? I guess I
Yes!
didn't actually make the app,
Your
but
apple
it was
pie app.
yeah, the apple pie app, which was
Oh.
a blast to actually make and quote unquote research, because we got to make apple pie a bunch, and for our like presentation when it was like actually due, we brought in multiple apple pies for everyone to be like, here, have some pie, give us a good grade.
Good.
Yeah, fantastic stuff.
Do you cook? Do you bake?
I like to cook.
Uh-huh.
I usually don't like to spend time cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's more of a thing. I felt like if I had a partner, it'd be a good like fun date night thing.
Yeah,
Like,
it
let's
is
cook
good.
something. There was this one girl that I dated for briefly. It was like a long distance thing. I think she lived up in New York, and she loved baking.
Mhm.
And so I was like, all right, we're gonna do a Skype date, and
Oh.
you're going to teach me how to bake cookies.
That's so
My
sweet.
favorite are chocolate chip, so get your best chocolate chip cookie recipe. Tell me what it is, and I'm gonna follow your instructions on Skype, and we're gonna make these and eat cookies together.
That's
When with me, that was the thing, and then it didn't work out. So I had great cookies
yeah.
that one time, and that was it. So
Yeah. So it goes.
yeah. But yeah, no, I also walk everywhere, so I have to walk to the grocery store and stuff like that, and so it's like when I need to go get food, I don't want to like go walk and get the food and then walk all the way back home and then spend time cooking the food. I just did all of this work. I just want to microwave something.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I like cooking. I almost have a General Tso's chicken recipe down
Ooh.
perfecto. The only thing I don't have is a sauce, which I just use this like a store-bought sauce, but it's still like I have rice and chicken and broccoli and carrots and sesame seeds and crushed red peppers and all of that stuff, and it's fantastic.
Nice.
And then I've started working on a macaroni and cheese recipe, but I'm nowhere near done with that. It's like a baked mac and cheese recipe, but that's also like I love making it, but that's like a heart attack in the making. So I want to make that sparingly.
Yeah,
you just got big. Choice. You embiggened.
Because we're talking about food. That's why.
Like it's fine when it goes small because your face is still in the picture, but when it goes big, it like cuts you off. And so I don't know what to do when that happens. I need to research this thing and figure out why it's doing this, and if there's a way I can just stop it from doing that. Reset transformation, put you down there. Oh, now you got small again.
If you reset transformation, I'm gonna lose all my magical girl powers.
God damn it. I hit the reset and then it got smaller. So it got smaller and then smaller again. I'm like, God damn it, fuck. Like I did. Motherfucker.
Well, you figure that out. I baked something very exciting this week. I love to bake.
Yes, you have your whole like cookie protection racket thing. How did that go?
I bake a ton of cookies every Christmas. And this week I tried something new. I've got this regular like sugar cookie dough. It's kind of a sugar cookie, kind of a shortbread cookie. These are the cookies that I cut out with the cookie cutter, and I get the colorful icing, and I pipe all the little designs on it, and it hardens that like glossy sheen over it, that kind of stuff. And this week I got a bunch of freeze-dried blueberries at Target, and I pulverized them in the blender, and I took this powder and I mixed it. No, pulverized is a very aggressive word.
I pulverized them.
I'm the Punisher.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mixed that powder into the sugar cookie dough, and it made these beautiful, like, dark blue purple, like, blueberry flavored cookies, and they were amazing. And I was so happy that I tried this thing and it worked.
I'm just gonna leave your camera be and let it do its own thing, because I was trying to fix it while you were talking, and it just got smaller again, which now on stream it looks normal, but on OBS I'm like trying to fix it, and I just, you know what, fuck it. We're gonna hear about Melissa's cookies and enjoy the show.
Enjoy them.
So you made like blueberry sugar cookies.
Yes.
Interesting. How did they turn out? Because I like,
they were beautiful.
I don't think I've ever seen any kind of sugar cookie except for the ones with icing or sprinkles around holiday time, or the ones with like the giant Hershey's Kiss in the center.
Yeah. They were good. They're just like they're the cutout cookies. So it's like a star, and it's got like this white icing design like piped all over it, or an angel or a snowflake. Those were 3 cookie cutters I used, because I've learned like, don't go bonkers with the cookie cutters. Like, just pick like a couple and use them over and over again. Like, nobody's going to fault you for a lack of variety.
Yeah, that's it. What are the standard Christmas shapes? Because I feel like I'm trying to think of Halloween, and there's the pumpkin ones, and then I see the gingerbread ones, which is just the shape of a human, which is kind of creepy. But, sure.
There's gingerbread folk. I've got them. Angel, snowflake. A star.
What does the snowflake one look like? Is it more of like a Star of David kind of thing?
It's like the kind of pointy, like asterisk sort of looking one.
It's a 6-pointed star.
Yes.
That would be the Star
Kind
of David.
I
Yeah,
can just
like
send you a picture of things.
two
Picture a
triangles.
snowflake, it looks like that.
Think of like two
Kind of.
triangles. That's yeah. Anyways, blueberry cookies. That sounds
I have a
interesting.
Santa, a little house. Yeah, all kinds of them. I think it's really fun.
Okay. So in this protection racket that you run, how many houses? So have you made your deliveries yet, or is that something
No,
you're
that's
going to do?
Christmas Eve.
Okay.
That's Christmas Eve most years, and I do it with my brother, and he's going on like a road trip to visit a friend, and he's getting back like on Christmas Eve. So I don't know how it's going to work this year. I
He's
guess
gonna be pulling in, and you're gonna be in the car, and you're gonna be like, "Hop in, bitch! We're going cookie delivering."
Maybe, who knows? So I don't. So we make these boxes of cookies every year. We make like I don't know, like 10 to 18 boxes, something like that.
Yeah.
And we make a Christmas card and we drive them around and we deliver them to people on Christmas Eve usually, or a couple days before and after that, their schedules permitting.
That's fantastic.
It's fun.
Have you ever did you ever watch the show Community?
I've seen a handful of them.
That'll be one of the things that when you and I record the Patreon exclusive stuff for the review show, we're gonna have to do some episodes of Community because that is it's a fantastic show. There's one episode. So what they like to do is a lot of their episodes. Excuse me, I have the hiccups because I've been drinking. They like to do different episodes in different styles of like different movies or genres and stuff like that. And they do one that ends up being like a crime noir mafia movie. And it centers around the chicken tenders that their cafeteria. You've seen that one? It's fantastic. It's amazing. It's apparently like the only like good meal that the community college in Community Greendale Greendale Community College, the only good lunch thing that they serve is chicken tenders. And so they start like wanting to get jobs in the cafeteria so that they can start like, if I work there, I can kind of set aside an extra box for myself. And then it starts to grow and expand to, well, I guess I can save some for my friends, and then maybe I can start like asking for favors and paying them in chicken tenders and stuff like that. And it's amazing. It's so good. And so they have this like chicken tender racket. And so in my mind, that's what you do with these cookies. Like you're like, so what does little Johnny want this year for Christmas? We'll hook him up with some cookies if you take out Johnny Tight Lips over there. You know what I'm saying?
No, we ask for nothing in return. Occasionally people will give us cookies back, or one year I think I got hot wings and another year I got tiny like airplane whiskey bottles.
There you go.
Those were good. Yeah. What I'm known for, what I make every year, and I've made every year for I don't even know how long, like 6 years or something like that.
Yeah.
I make whiskey glazed pecans. Whiskey
glazed pecans. Interesting.
It's just cinnamon, sugar, whiskey, pecans. And everybody goes bananas for them.
I know.
Even though it's the easiest thing for anybody to make.
I mean, hey, people like nuts. but can't neglect the balls. No, so I was about to make a nuts joke and also mention that I actually don't like nuts.
Uh-huh.
Like I like if it's like nuts in cookies or nuts in a cake or dessert of some kind. I don't like them,
Yeah.
but I like whiskey. So
I can
like
whiskey glaze other things. I've done it to pretzels before.
also interesting, but you said that this is one of the things that people go crazy for, and
Yeah.
it's I guess you could say that they go nuts for.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, so like when you make a batch of those, about how much of them do you make? Like, can I take over a small empire with them?
Right now, okay. So since my parents got a membership to Sam's Club, I make more of them because I can get like the big bulk bag for pretty cheap. Right now, I've got a bag of 2 pounds of pecans in my pantry.
Damn.
They're all getting glazed. Yep.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I feel like that would be the type of thing like in a post-apocalyptic world. That's what we would use for currency. Melissa's whiskey glazed pecans.
Hmm.
Amazing.
And I'm not
Um,
shy about the fact like this is very easy for you to do on your own. And people are like, nah, I wait until you bring them to me every Christmas. I'm like, okay,
people are
I
all
guess
about
if that's how you need to
convenience.
limit yourself. All right.
Speaking of convenience, here's a hard shift and change of topic, but it has a segue because
Uh-huh.
of convenience. Everything is a fucking subscription service nowadays, right? Like you have
Mm-hmm.
Netflix, you like all of your entertainment stuff, movies and TV, comics. You can
Yeah.
get based on subscription services. MeUndies does underwear based on a
Yeah.
subscription service. There's like Dollar Shave Club, which is like razors and stuff like that. You can get anything,
Mm-hmm.
basically on a subscription service. I wonder if there's weed subscription services. That has to be a thing. I know in certain
Absolutely. Somebody somewhere is running that.
I know in certain spots you can get it delivered, but like there has to be a thing where it's just like a certain amount each month. We will just give you a certain amount, right? That has to be a thing.
Yeah.
Um. Anyways, I bought a new toothbrush. Have you heard? And it's on a subscription service. I'm like, this is what
Oh,
I'm
okay. Yeah.
saying. Have you heard of Quip?
Yes.
They're sponsoring a lot of podcasts, or at least doing
Yeah.
advertisements and stuff like that. That's why I bought one. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna help out this podcast that I like, and I'm going to buy a Quip toothbrush and use their code and stuff like that. And it's kind of cool. We're not sponsored by them, but I got it in the mail like a week ago, and it's very interesting. I'm a big fan of the content that Kind of Funny puts out,
Okay. I
and
thought you were gonna say I'm a big fan of the Colgate toothbrush, and
yeah,
this is
I'm a big
different
fan
than
of the
that. So I'm
Colgate
gonna have to
toothbrush.
adjust.
If you don't mind, I like to call myself a Colgate connoisseur. Um,
I'm the Colgate keeper.
exactly. Um, I'm the Colgate keeper. No, but like, so I tried it out just on a whim, being like, you
Uh-huh.
know what? I've had the same toothbrush for a while, but what sold me was the ads that they've been having the Kind of Funny people read. I don't know
Uh-huh.
if it's like a universal thing or if it's like specifically for them. That's the ad
Hmm.
copy that they read. But they without saying the product name, they make it sound like a vibrator. And it's
Good.
amazing. It's like there's a buzzy gift on everyone's list that is vibrating into all of this stuff, and it's just like, oh my god, this is amazing. I love it. It's fantastic. People are wanting a vibrator No, it's a toothbrush.
You can want both. Both are
Yeah,
important.
they're like, it vibrates and it's perfect for anyone with a mouth. It's like, oh god, this is ridiculous. But yeah, so it's cool. I mean, it's one of those things that I'm like, you can get anything on a subscription service. What's next?
Yeah.
What's next? Strange
I'm trying
stuff
to think
you
if
can
there's
do
anything
in
I want, but like
future.
we've discussed this previously. I'm a store person. I like to go be at a store.
What? So yeah. So let's put it that way then, right? What is one of the things that you wish was a subscription service, but for you personally would still go to a store to get? But what if that store was the one doing the subscription service? Like it was a local thing. Like,
Okay.
is
So
it
like
like
instead of me going to Old Town Donuts sends the donut to me.
exactly like a subscription service? You pay $10 a month, and once a month we will deliver like a baker's dozen of your choice of donuts. Excuse me. Like it is like food something you would do?
It is.
Books?
Oh, it is good to have food. I was kind of thinking about that. Like, what if I had like a cheesy romance novel shipped to me like once every month?
You could totally do that. What if that would be a good idea for like Goodreads? Like
Yeah.
if Goodreads had a subscription service, because I know they do, or I guess I'm assuming they do like book clubs. Like you can do like genre-based stuff. I'm sure. Like I'm a
I think I've
sci-fi
seen
fan. We're gonna
something
do
like this, like
but like
on
what
Instagram.
if they actually bought the books in bulk and sent them to the people that like had signed up for it, and you get that book? Or like what if Domino's did a thing, so every like second Friday of the month is pizza night, and you pay them $10 a month, and they'll just they'll deliver you a pizza if you want it. Or I mean, I guess it wouldn't work like that, right? Because if it's like, because the whole thing with subscription services,
Mm-hmm.
they kind of are banking on you forgetting you have it.
Yes, that's what happened to me with Blue Apron. Like, I did it for 3 weeks and I had intended to do it for 1 week, but like
Exactly.
the canceling day was always like a day earlier than I thought it was.
And you forget, and then it charges you, and you're like, oh, well, I guess I have it for this next week. But I liked your food, so
it is. It was
and then
really good.
And then by time the next one comes, it's like, well, I forgot again. Oh well.
Mm-hmm. If I had more money, I would live for like Blue Aprons and stuff like that, because like I'm so short on time.
Can't you pick how many meals a week you want though, or like
Yeah, I got 6 meals out of those.
Is that the smallest amount? Is that
Yes,
per week or per month?
2 meals a week was what I had.
2 meals a week, so it's up to 6 months or 6 meals in 1 month. Is that what you got?
No, that's just like I just had it for 3 weeks.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah. Yeah, because if it was like Domino's, like what if you paid like what? I don't know, like $30 a month, $40. I mean, that seems a little pricey. But when it's like, if it was $30 or $40 per month, but you can have pizza whenever you want.
Okay, this is like a movie pass for pizza.
Exactly. Well, yeah. I don't know if movie pass is the right thing.
You
but
can't
like,
get 3D pizza.
Like Netflix,
you can't get IMAX pizza.
Right, but like Netflix, like I have Netflix and Hulu,
Mhm.
But I watch so many video podcasts and stuff that I really
Yeah.
only watch stuff for the review show nowadays. Every now and then I'll
Yeah.
watch something, and so I have Hulu, but I haven't really watched anything on Hulu just for
Mhm.
fun in 3 months. Right, so
Yeah.
it's this idea of like, well, if you don't use it for a whole month because you're just like you're all pizzaed out, like
Mhm.
you paid $30, but then maybe that next month you get pizza once a week, right? Like, or
Yeah.
it's maybe you have a like I would exclude catering and be like, I'm gonna need like 30 pizzas for this Halloween party that I'm cooking up. It's gonna be great, bro. But like yeah, if it's like you can do up to one pizza a day. I don't know why anyone would get pizza every single fucking day of their life. As much as I love
You
pizza,
die.
it would be a great way to die. But but like
To die by
I
your
mean
side is such
look
a heavenly
guys,
way to
if
die.
if
Dominoes.
if you're gonna go out anyway, go out happy, die happy, right? Just stuff your face with pizza until you die, right? but yeah, like that would be that type of thing where it's like you can have pizza up to 3 times a week, and it's $30 a month.
Mm.
Who knows? Who knows? Hire me,
Yes.
Domino's. I'm I'm for sale. You can
Find
buy me.
yourself a Kyle.
You can buy me. I'm whoring myself out to Domino's right now. But yeah, so that was it's crazy to think about all of the stuff that you can get on subscription service stuff. Speaking of food, though, I went to Chipotle today.
Yes,
I
tell me your
had
Chipotle tale.
an interesting time at Chipotle. So a couple weeks ago, I mentioned my Chipotle story here on the captain's log about the one time where they barely gave me any steak on my tacos, and I was like, "All right, guys, what the fuck?"
Mm.
And then they were like, "All right, we'll give you some more steak." And then I was like, "Okay," and then I'm gonna get some sour cream on that, and they did a whole scoop of sour cream on each of my tacos. It was the worst. So today I went back to Chipotle. This is the first time back.
Redemption.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I was gonna go to Tropical Smoothie for breakfast, but I had also.
You're a big fan of the tropical smoothie. I know that much.
I do it. I mean, it's my excuse to like eat more fruit, but I know it's like fruit and sugar and all that stuff. And, it's
There's still vitamins. More sugar doesn't mean less vitamins.
it's healthy-ish,
yes.
right? So I was gonna go to that. My idea was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the grocery store, and on my way back, I'm gonna stop at Tropical Smoothie to get breakfast. Except I went to the grocery store and got way more than I thought I was going to get. I go to my parents' house this next week, or I guess by the time this goes public, I should have already left.
Mm-hmm.
But I go on like Wednesday or Thursday. I don't know the exact date. I'll have to double check my itinerary and stuff that they sent me. But I got way more food than I was expecting because I was like, okay, well, I have this many days left. I kind of need these things. This will give me 2 meals. That will do this thing, And so I went home after that, and I was like, I'm still really hungry, but I didn't get breakfast food. Like, I didn't get anything I could eat, like, now. But it was lunch time. I didn't want anything that I had that I just bought. So I was like, I'm just going to go back out. And I went back to Chipotle, and I got a burrito bowl. And so that's not the strange thing. They made my food totally fine. When I
Okay.
got to the Chipotle, it was like right at noon, and there was a little bit of a line, and I get to the door, and there's a guy who's on his phone leaning back on the door, and the door opens outward. And I see it, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm opening the door. And I open the door, and he falls back and is like, and he gives me like the meanest look. I'm like, bitch, you're on the door. What the fuck? Like, get out the way.
What are you
like,
supposed to do?
Yeah, like, what? I'm just like, oh my god, ridiculous. this it's the past. So on top of that, their cash register was broken, or like their main one, so they had to move everyone to their like pickup. Like, you ordered it on the phone or online, they had to move everyone to that one. But it's been two times in a row that I've gone to Chipotle and had some like weird experience where something happened. And I was just like,
Kyle, yesterday I was the weird experience.
Oh god, what did you do?
Yesterday I took the fought for day off work. That wasn't even entirely a day off work. I went in for like an hour and a half in the afternoon to check on my trainee, but I needed a day for like a haircut and an oil change and all of these errands that I did not have time to fit into a weekend.
Right.
And I was so rushed that I just got a Taco Bell breakfast on my way to the oil change, because I'm like, I'm going to be sitting there anyway.
Yeah.
I can eat while I'm in the oil change. And the Jiffy Lube, their equipment was down. They weren't able to take me, so I had to go to a Valvoline. I'd never been to a Valvoline before. I did not know that the way it worked was that you stay in your car. You drive it in and you stay in your car while they're working on it.
I feel like that's fake. But I don't know since I don't have a car. Like, I'm wondering if you just sat in there. They're like, why is she still fucking in her car?
They didn't tell me to leave. Like, they did not like guide me. Like, would you like to sit in our waiting room? We have coffee.
They have you up like.
No, I wasn't up. I was just on the ground. They didn't have that open bay floor like a Jiffy Lube does.
Okay.
So I'm in my car and I'm eating my breakfast burrito. And I had set aside this time to be like, okay, I'm going to start reading what we're covering on the review show this week, the Happy comic books by Grant Morrison and an artist I don't remember.
And the TV show as well, because we're doing a compare.
Doing them both, but I was not watching the TV show on the go. I was reading the comics on the go. And I should have known this so I started the TV show, like I watched like half of that, and then I started on the comics.
Right.
And I should have known what to expect. I should have known. Oh yes, there is a man in a.
Go ahead. I was just gonna comment on this is a very absurd book, but continue, please.
Oh yes, this thing is straight up bonkers. It's Grant Morrison, as previously said, and I'm learning that's just what that guy does. Okay.
Yeah.
So I watched it in the TV show, and I should have known you're going to open up this comic, and it's going to be like a man in a weird bug suit getting a blowjob, and then he tries to break the woman's head open with a hammer, and then Nick Sachs comes in and shoots him, and then there's this big bloody gunfight with these mobster brothers, and just so much cursing all over the place. Like, I should have known.
The first, 2 pages of the comic book is just cunt this, cunt that. He's a cunt. Blah 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 blah.
Yes. Which I should have been prepared for, but I decided I'm short on time. I have to take it out in public anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they're staring at what you're reading. It's not like it's porn, but it's it's one of those things. Like, I also wasn't expecting that. That was like, oh, this is like the 38th time that they've said the C word. Fantastic.
Yeah. Okay.
Good, clean family fun.
I would read it like in the waiting room, like by myself, like kind of in the corner where nobody can see what I'm doing. And like, I'm in the middle of my car. They're walking like all around the car. They're like above me because I drive like a little sedan. I'm not that high off the ground. So like they can see me reading about this blowjob and stuffing my face with a breakfast burrito while they just work on my car around me. Like, don't mind me with my Taco Bell and my blowjob, please. Thank you for your service, Valvoline.
Exactly. While she's stuffing her face with one thing, you're stuffing your face with another thing.
It's art. Life imitates art.
Exactly.
I'll have my burrito, thank you.
Perfect. I'm glad that happened.
So yeah, I was the thing that happened to somebody else this week, I think. I was their reckoning.
That's not as bad as like opening the door and a guy like almost falling out of the restaurant and him like being like, why would you do that? And me being like, why would you do that? What the fuck? Like, I'm walking in the store.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
I have a right to burrito as well.
I have the right to a burrito. Leave me alone. So last thing I wanted to ask you, and I thought of this as I was kind of coming up with what to talk about for this week. What is the most you've ever gotten in trouble? Because Melissa, you are the like resident goody two shoes.
I
here
am
at the Whatnauts. Your favorite cuss word is ding dang.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure you've heard me say Jeepers 3 times in the last hour.
Yes. Something like that. And not only was it surprising that the happy comic said the word cunt like 40 times in the first 2 pages, but I was like, oh god, Melissa is reading this. What is going on in her mind right now? She's like, Kyle, what did you make me read? Oh my god.
It's fine. Like, I don't mind it when other people do it so much. I just can't do
Which is
it
fine.
myself.
I'm not judging you for that. But it like what I want to know is, have you ever broken the law? Have you like what was the most the thing you did that got you in the most trouble?
Like trouble, like somebody's mad at me, or just like, oh whoops, I ran a red light, I have to pay like a fine.
Just whatever you feel like sharing, because like what in your mind, what was the worst thing you've ever done?
Okay. When I was, my brothers.
I know Jams.
Yes,
met him.
And then
he was on our episode. What was the movie we watched with Dean DeHaan?
Forgot it already. We watched Valerian in the City of 1,000 Planets.
I could picture it in my mind. I couldn't think of the name.
French Space Boy and a lot of places. We watched that one. Okay, and we have an older brother who's much older than us.
That you've mentioned.
And so, yes, that one's Tim. And when I was like 5 years old, Tim is getting ready to go to college. And so him and dad are loading stuff into the truck like late one night, getting ready. And me and Jams are up, little kids, they can't bother putting us to bed. They're too busy loading furniture in a car. And they're like, we're going in and out of the house, but like, you kids stay here. Mm-hmm. Like, we'll put on the Nick at Night or whatever. Like, just stay here. And like, then they went out of the house for like too long. And I'm like, I want to know what they're doing, but they told me to stay here. So I'm going to stay here, but I'm going to tell my little brother to go out and see what they're doing. Cause like, I'm not going to do it, but I can make him do it. I'm the big one.
Yeah. I'll delegate.
And like, he went outside, and then I think he's like 4 and he just like wanders off. Like, and they found, and like, he just walked like a block away before Like
So
they found him again.
they weren't like immediately outside for him to be like, oh, you guys are just taking a long time. They were off
Yeah.
doing something, and so he was like, well, I guess I'm just gonna go start an adventure and search for them.
I think they were distracted or something, or maybe like the neighbors had a bunch of people over, so they weren't able to like park the van, like the moving van or whatever, right in front of our house.
Okay.
I don't know. Like I was not there. This is what Chance was supposed to come back and tell me about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't go outside. So I think they just spotted him like this, little toddler just walking around like 6 houses down the street, and they're like, "How did he get out here?" And he's like, "Melissa told me to get out here." I'm like, I wanted to know what you guys were doing, but you told me not to move, so I didn't.
Robin Hood, Little John, dude, he's just like walking down the street. Robin Hood, Little John, walking through the forest, lonely.
And and Dad was mad. Like, don't send your little brother to do things for you. Don't send him outside in the middle of the night.
But that's what he's for.
He's
Come on, Dad.
Boy.
Goodness.
He's my valet.
He's expendable, Dad. You should know that.
Yeah. And I think Dad was like, if you do
Sorry,
this again...
Jams, you're not expendable. I'm just...
Very important to the family. I think Dad was like, if you do this again, I'm gonna... And I think he was just like, and he's like, I'm gonna take your Barbies away. And I loved my Barbies.
Yeah.
I had a dollhouse for him and everything.
Incredible.
So I learned, don't send your brother off on night errands for you.
Yeah. Ridiculous. So you've never like actually been in trouble with the law. You've never had like police come to your house, or to like you've never been at some like wild party where the cops have come and no. Okay.
Have you?
I've not been to a party that cops have been to because I'm not really a partier.
So you previously mentioned I want to disappear. Yeah. I want to fade into the crowd.
I'm very quiet. I'm the one who will just be standing in the corner at a party with my drink, just people watching. Or if I'm at the bar, like I'll be sipping on some whiskey in the back, just watching people. I did get suspended from high school.
What?
Yes. I got suspended from high school for graffiti.
Oh my god.
I used to be very very big into graffiti. I like the art. I majored in graphic design, and we deal a lot with we deal a lot with fonts and different typefaces and stuff like that. And I feel like that was kind of the evolution of my interest in graffiti. I'm still interested in it. I never really painted illegally. I was never good enough to do that. My can control was terrible, and the paint that I had access to was garbage. But in high school, I made a bunch of stickers and I had markers and stuff like that, and I would like walk around school and I would put these stickers up and I would tag stuff.
Kyle, that is exactly what Miles is doing in the beginning of Enter the Spiderverse.
Good for him. Good for him. And
this makes sense. I see why you're a spider boy.
I learned so much from doing that, just about the way the world works. And stuff like that. It was fascinating because here I am, middle class white boy who got good grades, basically skipping, tagging the school, and no one would stop me. Like none of this of the of the security people would stop me and be like, "What are you doing? Aren't you supposed to be in class?" But all of the Hispanic people, they would get stopped. All of the black people, they would get stopped. That was like my first experience, or like conscious experience with white privilege of just like, I'm white, and they're like, they don't question it. Like, that's really strange. Like, why don't they? And like, I also kind of went into it being like, all right, if I look like I'm going somewhere, if I look like I have something to do, they won't stop me. But if like I'm just kind of lollygagging and, you know, just having a blast, and, you know, then they'll be like, what are you doing? Like, why aren't you in class right now? And they never did. And when they finally caught me, the security guard was like baffled. He was just like, I like, we spent so much time, and he literally told me, like, we spent so much time looking for someone who was poor and got good and got bad grades. Basically, we were looking for like a black or Hispanic person. That's why it took so long. And I was like, well, there you go. Like, you can't do that. Like, you know. But it was interesting because when they finally brought me in, I here I am. I grew up very religious too, so this was the first like, I'm breaking the law and I don't want, you know, like, or I guess maybe not the first, but like, just like, and in terms of like physical, like, I don't even know what you could call it, like local, state, like that kind of law.
Okay.
Sure. Like, this wasn't the first time I was sinning. but like, this was the first time that I made a conscious decision to do something that I knew was against the law, you know. And I eventually got caught, but it was a thing that I was just like, well, once they caught me, I was like, yep, that was me. So what? You know? Yeah. And what baffled me is, one, they tried to blame me for over $10,000 in damages.
For stickers?
To the school. It was stickers and tags. I had a big marker. It was a wood paint marker that you can get at like Home Depot or Michael's or something like that, which is water-based. So it can literally come off with water, which was my... They were like, you did $10,000 in damages. And I was like, give me half an hour and a spray bottle and I'll be fine. Like, you know...
They'll call it the Mr. Magic Eraser for nothing. It's taken care of.
Exactly. And then on top of that, I don't know exactly what she was. She wasn't the vice principal of the school. She wasn't the principal, but she wasn't head of security. She was some like major supervisor though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I guess she was the one that like dealt with everything day to day. I'm not sure. But she was the one that dealt with me and with my parents when they called them and was like, hey, we've kept your son after school. He's been suspended for a week. We need to, have you guys come pick him up. She had a very, very thick Jamaican accent. She was some... I guess not necessarily Jamaican, but some kind of Trinidad Tobago accent, that type of thing. And one of the stickers that I made said, "Caught you in your sleep." Just like have you heard say like have you heard someone say like, hey, don't sleep on this, like this
Yes,
movie is
yes.
fantastic, don't sleep on it. That's what I was going off of. Like, I caught you sleeping, you know. And with her accent, it made it sound like I cut you in your sleep, and it was very violent. And I was like, oh god, no, that's not me, I didn't do that, I didn't, I'm not a murderer.
Freddy Krueger did that one. That's not me.
Yeah, and so to my parents who doesn't hear her accent on a day-to-day basis, it's like, I cut you. Oh my god, like my son. Oh my goodness, And it was just like, no, that's not what it says. God damn it, fuck, shit. Like, that's not, that was not me. At that time, I was like, dang it, gosh darn it, gee willikers, god, Batman, but like, it was like, that's not what it said. So it made it sound so much worse than it actually was. And I was originally suspended for a week.
Uh-huh.
Lucky for me, someone else was suspended for the exact same thing at the exact same time. We both got caught on the same day. We think someone snitched because there was only a couple of us that knew that it was us that was doing it. And so we think someone snitched, but we weren't sure for certain. But his mom was a lawyer, and so she was like, for a fucking week? This is water-based and pay, like, so it got reduced from a week to 1 day. And it was just like, I got to stay home and play video games. And I had to do, I was supposed to do like 100 hours of community service. I only did like 3 of them. And I actually was even less than that. I had to go to school on a Saturday and basically report to the janitor and be like, what do you need help with? And he was like, shit, I don't want to be here. You don't want to be here. How about you stack some chairs in the cafeteria, and once that's done, you can leave. I was like, all right. And so I did. And it took like an hour and 15 minutes to stack all of those chairs, and they never called me back. So I got away very easily, but I think that was one of the biggest times that I was like in trouble with the law. I was like, you're very lucky you're not 18 yet, because that would go on your permanent record and all of that stuff, which I don't even know if that's an actual thing in adult life, like outside of like school system stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that was a big deal, like your permanent record.
Yeah, my supervisor's never like, you failed your driving test the first time you took it, and you had to take it twice, didn't you? Like, yes, I'm sorry, I'll get back to work.
Exactly. It's ridiculous. But that was my story for the evening. I don't know why I did. Your camera just did the thing, and I'm like moving it around, and it's now like,
what size am I now?
You got big, and I tried to fix it by just like centering you, because I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna move you in the center so you're at least in the picture.
I had a brief story about my high school as well.
Go for it.
Which was that it was very easy to sneak around my high school, and I didn't do it, but I heard this tale from others, because we had a big
that was me.
We had a big like journalism and yearbook and like school newspaper community. We had a big like theater community, and those were commonly things where you would get sent out of the classroom, like, okay, go take pictures for yearbook, go take pictures for like the newspaper. Sometimes the theater teachers would send you out on these little field trips to be like, okay, here's your pass to leave the school. Like, we need these costume pieces. Go to Goodwill and like come back with the costume pieces, and then we can work with them later in class today. Stuff like that. And so, and commonly there would be like a camera involved with this. You have to take a photo for the newspaper, or for the yearbook, or for like, see, look, Mr. Smiddle, these are like the outfits we could pick from the Goodwill. Like, which one do you want? Like,
Yeah.
these are different costume looks for anything goes. And they figured out that the secret to like looking like you belonged, like you were just supposed to wander around, was to have a camera, and was to have like a big fountain drink from Quick Trip,
Yeah.
which is the local like gas station convenience store chain. Like if you have a big queue, you look like you're supposed to, you're just on business. So like that's what they would do. Like, well, I have a digital camera and a big queue. Like I can go anywhere, and they'll think like, no, she had to run an errand for a teacher or something.
I might not have a big Q, but there's a big other letter that's happening in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yes!
And show's done. Okay, that's the captain's log, ladies and gentlemen. I am having a lot of fun because I've had a lot of alcohol. Continue with your story, please.
That was it. Like, I don't know, people would just get a fountain drink and it made them, it's like some sort of a fake
official
badge or something.
Right.
Yeah, like,
that's, I mean,
you must be supposed to have that.
That's the same thing that I noticed. Like, if you looked like you had, like, if you looked like you were on your way to the office to go, like, deliver, like, a late pass for someone, or deliver the attendance, you know, like, if you looked like you had something to do, they wouldn't be like, hey, who are you? What are you doing? So that was that. Crazy stuff. What was I just gonna say? I just got a Discord message from Jess. Who I was curious to see if she was able to join me on the Captain's Log yesterday, which was our normal time. We're recording this Saturday night. In which she mentioned she got a new phone and forgot to install Discord, which is why she hadn't been responding to any of my messages. Sad face. She doesn't care about me. But yeah, so I guess to kind of wrap things up, as we mentioned, this is the final episode of the Captain's Log for the year 2018. Yeah. However, you and I still have one more episode to record of the review show. Yes. Which, by the way, have you heard back from your RPG thing? Are we doing this Sunday morning or Sunday night?
No, forget about them. Like, let's do a review show in the morning as normal. Okay. Let's do the retrospective whenever we can. The RPG has to accept that they come second.
So here's the official schedule. You and I are recording this Saturday night. As of Saturday night, you and I are recording the review show Sunday morning on our normal time, which is noon Eastern and 11 a.m. Central Time. And then our 3-year retrospective is going to be recorded Monday night. But I just had an idea.
Yeah.
Eric, I need to get in touch with Eric some way that's a little better than Discord. I wonder if I can grab his phone number somehow. Jess is free Sunday night, and then she's off on Monday at 8, which means it's going to be like midnight for me when we would be able to record if we waited for her. So Monday won't work for her. I'm wondering if Sunday I can record with Jess and Eric and do like part 1, and then do Monday night with you and Belinda.
Yeah.
And that be part 2, and then stitch those together as the full podcast.
Okay.
That's me thinking bright idea right now. I don't know if that's actually going to work. But I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that something like that happens.
Yes.
Obviously you guys will see that or hear it on the retrospective whenever we make that thing happen. But yeah, with the retrospective, it's the Whatnauts 3-year retrospective, which is going to be an interesting one because the Whatnauts has been around for 3 years, just a little bit over that. Our actual anniversary is in October of when we like actually started recording. But Paul, who is the co-creator who has since stepped down and moved on, we didn't start releasing episodes until January at the start of the new year, because we were new to podcasting, and we were like, let's record a bunch of them before we actually start releasing them. So if we only last for 6 months, like, we'll at least we'll at least have some stuff to put out, which is now not how I think, but yeah, so that's the thing with, so we're gonna be recording that. It's gonna be our 3-year retrospective, but Melissa, this is your first year with the Whatnauts. This is Eric's first year. This is Belinda's first year. I'm the only one who's been here for 3 years.
You're the old man.
Everyone else has been here, I guess it's more like 6 or 7 months, 8 months at the most. I don't remember exactly when
my first episode was in my first episode was in late April, because it was right
at the end of 4 months.
Yeah,
which I think the first one you were on was when we did the Infinity Gauntlet. Yep. Yeah, which is the comic book that Infinity War Avengers 3 was based off of.
Yeah. Both.
Fantastic stuff. Yeah. So that's what we're going to do. Be following us on Twitter. If you are not already following us on Twitter, you should be.
Yes.
Follow us on Twitter at the Whatnauts. If you don't have a Twitter account, what are you doing with your life?
Just for podcasts.
Just make one to keep up with us. Yeah, so if I do end up recording tomorrow night with Eric and Jess, maybe I'll do like a brief interview with Jess, at least, if I don't get a hold of Eric, because it is last minute stuff. But yeah, if not, you can catch us, I guess, I mean, on the review show very soon, and then the 3-year retrospective. The only difference with the 3-year retrospective is that will come out on both of our feeds. I'm gonna put that on the Captain's Log and on the review show feed. So if you're subscribed to both of those, then you'll get it twice and inflate our numbers. So thank you. Makes us look like we got more downloads than we actually did. But besides that, I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot like the Captain's Log here, where we just sit down, have fun. There's not really a specific topic, except the retrospective does kind of have a specific topic, and it's everything that we've done this past year here at the Whatnauts. So Melissa, since I have you here right now, things that I'm gonna be asking you, so be thinking about this. What was your favorite episode of the review show? Okay. What was your least favorite episode of the review show? And then what is one of the things that we read on the review show, or read or watched or listened to? What is the one that you want to go back to the most? Which I think I know the answer to that, but save your answers for that retrospective. If you also have questions, feel free to come up with them. You can let me know beforehand if it's something you think I might need to prepare for, or you can just spring them on me and put the spotlight on me. This is a chance for us to celebrate what we've done, what we're going to do, ask questions, if you're like, so I know you've told the story of the Whatnauts. How do we actually start? Where did the name
Grandpa, tell us
come
the
from?
legend.
Yeah. Story time, Kyle. Yeah. No, like, I mean, if that is something you want clarifying on, yeah, I mean, let's just have fun and celebrate what we've done. Or if you want to ask more about the process, because you feel like people might not know about that stuff, or just like, hey, what are your inspirations, or who knows what, just yeah, like, this is time just to have fun. Ask more about the process and everything we've done this past year. I've now bored you guys to death with my rambling and information about all of this stuff. Yep.
There wasn't even a dick joke made. There was just an opportunity for one, and I laughed on instinct.
Wait, a dick joke that I missed?
One, Kyle.
It was what?
It's a long one.
It's
been a long one.
It's been a long one. This is a long one. Bigger than those pies, you know what I'm saying? Bigger than my face. Dick jokes galore. Feel free to bring all the dick jokes you want onto our retrospective. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I will probably be drinking again on our retrospective.
I can prepare a beverage as well.
Yeah, if you want to drink, you can, or if you just want to have a soda or some orange juice or whatever you want. If you want to eat some food, have some candy. This is our time to just... That sounds bad for
audio, but thanks for letting me feel like I'm free.
Yeah. Have fun. This is the one. It's almost like our holiday party, but let's have a Whatnauts party. Let's have a Whatnauts party. So that being said, if things happen on Sunday night, I will let you guys know on Twitter. I will share the link out so you guys can catch the live stream of that. But we, at least you and I, will be here on Monday night to record that retrospective. Belinda should be joining us on that. So that should be a lot of fun as well. It's always great to have her on the show, and we're gonna talk about our successes and failures and stuff like that.
Yeah,
good stuff. Where was I gonna go with this? End the show, Kyle. This has been dragging on way too long. Patreon.com. If you like this show, if you like any of our shows, the review show, me and Melissa host that every Sunday at noon at the whatnauts.com/livestreams. You guys can catch that and be a part of the conversation. You can be a part of the conversation here on the Captain's Log, usually every Friday night at 9 p.m. That may have some changes. We'll see. Especially for this new year, we might talk about it a bit on the 3-year retrospective. So be paying attention to that. Any official announcements we have will be on Twitter at the Whatnauts. Melissa, where can they find you on the internet?
I am on Twitter and Instagram at Wilkywit. It's WILKYWIT. On Twitter is a good place to find me talk about all the other podcasts that I've been on. I developed a litany this year somehow.
A myriad of podcasts.
Yep.
A bevy of podcasts.
Oh, I like bevy. That's the sexiest word.
Yeah, bevy.
Yeah.
You guys can find me online at YoKyleSpringer on Twitter and Instagram. I mentioned the show's Twitter, just at the Whatnauts. You can find us on iTunes or wherever else you get your podcasts. One of the goals for the new year is to get us back on Spotify. We used to be on Spotify when it was only the Whatnauts podcast, but things have changed, and so I'm going to work to get us back on Spotify. That being said, I mentioned Patreon, which is patreon.com/the Whatnauts. Just a single $1 Just pocket
One.
change. One whole dollar. 4 whole quarters. Which is not much at all. Gains you benefits for all of our podcasts. You can get them early, and in the new year will be even earlier than before. So go check out our Patreon at patreon.com/the Whatnauts. We could absolutely use your help, because that helps keeps the mics on. Lots of plurals there. That being said, this has been episode 32 of the Captain's Log. We will see you next year. Adios, guys. In 2019.
We'll see you in the future.
In the future. I am from the future. Adios, guys. Bye.